iPhones, you should upgrade to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, there is rumors that it's going to be called the iPhone 15 Ultra, but I don't see that happening personally. Could be wrong because they don't usually copy the naming scheme of their competitor Samsung. So I think it's going to be 15 Pro Max, but I could be wrong. Let's jump right in and get into the first phone, and that is the iPhone XS Max. Now, I'm going to give you my reasons why I think you should upgrade all of these phones to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and that is if it's within your budget and you're planning to do it anyway. We're going to begin by talking about the XS Max, and the first reason is going to be huge if you've been keeping this phone, and that's the cameras. So the XS Max was a phone that had a telephoto camera, so no ultra wide. Its main focus was a good main shooter, and then it did have a good, telephoto lens for the time. Could go up to 10 times zoom. Really decent, but this is going to be a massive upgrade because they're going to be massively improving the zoom. Whereas with the 13 Pro Max, the 14 Pro Max, they only went to 15 times, so 15 times zoom. So while they did have better telephotos than the XS Max, it wasn't like drastically big. Whereas when you're going to go to this next one, which is likely to have a periscope camera this year, this is going to be huge if you have a XS Max. Also, the screen. If you've been enjoying your XS Max's screen over the years, it's been a really good OLED 6.5-inch display, and it's still smooth even to this day. 60 hertz on iPhones are pretty smooth. However, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is going to give you a promotion if you've skipped out on the latest versions. Plus, it should be the best display you've ever seen on an iPhone, even better than the current ones that came out. And lastly, you have 4G on here, so you'll be going to 5G on here, and also massively improved performance because you've been sticking it out with the Apple A12 Bionic this long with 4 gigs of RAM. You might even get 8 gigs of RAM, probably going to see 6, but you're still going to get upgrades in RAM, major performance leaps and bounds, into the future, improved cameras, a different design, probably similarly light to this phone. It's going to be a massive upgrade for you. The next one is one of my favorites all time, the midnight green iPhone 11 Pro Max. I absolutely love this phone. It was such a nice jump to have triple camera, really amazing battery over the XS Max, and I just love this green color. And also very comfortable to hold. This is one of my favorite iPhones ever built. However, if you've been holding out this long, I think it would be a good time to go ahead and consider an upgrade from the 11 Pro Max. Now, the 11 Pro Max will still make it a year easily, I think, if you want to wait till a massive redesign next year. But at the same time, the 11 Pro Max here will give you, again, just like the XS Max, you're going to go up to the ProMotion display. This display was actually brighter than the XS Max, but you're going to get an even brighter display. Of course, the A13 Bionic is still pretty snappy to this day. However, the RAM will improve. So if you're using this phone heavily, that will improve. In addition, I do find that the iPhone 11 Pro Max now does have a really good camera. Ultra wide is a little bit noisy in low light. So if you like to take a lot of photos at nighttime and you want to improve your telephoto zooming on here as well, you can go past 10x on this upcoming iPhone, way past 15x even more than likely. We're probably going to see like a 30 times zoom is what I'm predicting. But definitely you're going to get some nice jumps in the camera for sure. This is going to be, of course, is always a focus. Video quality should be improved as well. You're going to have action modes and stuff like that. But honestly, it's going to be a pretty big change in design for you because you've been holding it out for a while with this phone right here. You'll probably have a little bit different edges, much bigger camera housing, although the 11 Pro Max was nearly flat on the camera housing. Faster performance, similarly good battery life, maybe even better, brighter screens, bigger. It's going to be a big upgrade for you if you have an 11 Pro Max, and you're probably going to see USB-C as well. So if you've been using Lightning for this long, that's going to be huge for you as well. So it's basically going to be a massive upgrade over the versatility that was introduced with the 11 Pro Max with the triple camera setup. It's just going to be like a super big improvement for you. Okay, well, the 12 Pro Max, the first large iPhone that brought the 5G performance, the industrial squared edges, which are hit or miss for some people. Some people like them. Some people think it makes the phone uncomfortably big and not very ergonomic to hold. I tend to think that they look better than the 11 Pro Max and XS Max. That's just my take. However, they don't feel better to hold. So I would rather hold these two and use them. But I just like the way these squared iPhone edges look but at the same time, they're not the most comfortable to hold. So I really hope Apple improves that on the next model. Now, this phone is not really a phone that you have to upgrade. And again, not every phone I'm talking about here has to be upgraded. But what I'll tell you is that if you are ready for an upgrade, the big one here with the iPhone 12 Pro Max is going to be a brighter screen, ProMotion, like we talked about with those. But it's bigger here because you're going to get, when the 12 Pro Max came out, I kind of already wanted 120 hertz. So if you've been waiting it out for that, that's going to be good. Also, the battery life is not as good on the 12 Pro Max as like the 13 Pro Max. So you can definitely look for a big battery jump. If you want something different than the notch you've been sticking out with for a while, this is going to be a big jump. The battery life is the big key here for the 12 Pro Max. If you are craving more battery life on a bigger iPhone, this is going to be one I would consider upgrading. Also, the camera department. This one was not a massive change to me over the 11 Pro Max. It did bring some nice video enhancements. It also brought some improved zooming capabilities to go to 12 times, but it's just like these incremental jumps, like 2x more than the 11 Pro Max. This one was more of a design change and bringing 5G. So big refinements coming to the 15 Pro Max. This would be a really good one to trade in, I would say. However, this also becomes an amazing iPhone bargain now. So when the 15 Pro Max comes out, or Ultra, whatever they want to call it, I think if you've been waiting out to get a 12 Pro Max, it's a 5G phone. It's a big iPhone. It's still plenty fast. It works well enough for day to day. It has triple camera. This will be an awesome bargain used option as well. So yeah, this is not a must upgrade, but definitely one that if you're looking for some refinements, it's going to be big. Now, the 13 Pro Max. This one is a definite you don't have to, but you should if you're the type of person who wants to keep its higher trade-in value and you like to do a 2-year upgrade. This will be a good one to upgrade, especially if you thought the iPhone 13 Pro Max to the 14 Pro Max was too little of a jump for you to even consider it. There might be a consideration this year if you got the 13 Pro Max. Now, the 13 Pro Max to me was the sweet spot, is still the sweet spot of iPhone deals. Reason why is because it doesn't have anything substantially wrong with it. Everything about it is pretty much nailed. Really good battery life, really good cameras, nice display, ProMotion, feels premium, looks nice, looks like the latest iPhone, cheaper than the latest iPhone. This is like the sweet spot deal right now. But if you had it since launch and you're ready to get something a little bit different, you're a little bit bored with the phone, this is definitely one that you can consider upgrading. And it's going to probably net you way more value than most of these back here, the older iPhones there. So this is a pretty good trade-in offer, I would say. They'll probably give you a little bit more for this than the other phones. Or even if you want to sell this third party, you'll get even more and apply it to your new iPhone. So this is really for the 2-year upgrade people that only keep a phone about 2 years. Other than that, the 13 Pro Max is still a stellar phone. Still has a good 3 years more, 4 years more under its belt, maybe even longer than that if you want to keep it that long. But I really can't say much. I can't say there's a lot that needs to be improved here. Probably just the weight. It's going to get lighter than this. And of course, the zooming is going to be much better than this. Low light performance is going to be better. Of course, the actual CPU is going to be slightly better. So, there's not a lot, but if you're a 2-year upgrader, this is a decent one to consider upgrading. And of course, my daily driver, the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Now, this is not going to be, this is one I don't even recommend upgrading. I mean, why would you want to upgrade this? You just got it. The dynamic island is coming to the next iPhone. I probably would just stick this out until the 16 Pro Max, unless you absolutely dislike this phone's battery life, which a lot of people like to complain about. For me, I still make it through a day. But the big thing here is that if you really, really badly want to get a USB-C port on there, you want to get better battery life, and you really crave the zooming, the iPhone 14 Pro Max doesn't have the longest zooming. It does 3 times optical, but 15 is where it maxes out digitally. So I think if you're looking for bigger zoom, you might want to consider even upgrading your current 14 Pro Max. If you really crave USB-C because your Mac does it, your iPad does it, you might really want to do that. In addition to that, this phone right here doesn't have the latest 3nm chipset that's rumored to be coming. So if you really want boss status performance over every phone out there, I mean, these are little spec improvements, but this one was really kind of like an A15 Bionic. So, and of course, out of all these phones, just like I said with the 13 Pro Max, this is going to net you the most. If you get rid of this phone, like right now, before, a few weeks, you'll probably get a massive amount of money on this phone, and you'll probably only have to pay a couple $100 to get your upcoming iPhone 15 Pro Max or Ultra. Now, they are rumored to be delayed until October. We'll see if that holds true. Probably will, because I think it's related to the camera sensors. So we'll have to see if it gets delayed. And in conclusion, I don't think any of these, are definitely bad phones. All of them are still solid, but these two right here, the 11 Pro Max, the 10s Max, not featuring 5G, they're becoming a little bit dated here. And anything below this, of course, you would want to consider upgrading to even other models. And of course, if it's not financially in your budget, obviously don't buy a phone. It's a depreciating asset. It's not really even an asset. It just doesn't make any money. It's just a phone. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to help you out, give you a guide here on what I think you will be getting, what you will be, upgrading to if you decide to get rid of any of these. So I'm looking forward to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Let me know if you are and which phone you have and which phone you want to go to. And if you want to see a similar video, but like this, but kind of with the smaller iPhones, maybe the 6.1 inch models, the Pro, the regular Pro models, let me know about that down below in the comments section. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well. I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.